Welcome back to another Spec adventure. Back in February of this year, Tommy and I went to the UK and visited England and Ireland. It was our first time in Europe, and we thought these two countries would be the least out of our comfort zone, since you could get by decently with English in both of these places. You're probably thinking, yeah, I get England, but why Ireland? I heard that one a few too many times when telling friends and family our destinations to visit, but honestly, it was because we secured an Aer Lingus flight deal and the stop was in Dublin. Check out our flight review if you haven't already. Our itinerary included 9 days in England and 5 days in Ireland for a total of 2 weeks in Europe. While in England, we visited attractions in London and took a day trip to Bath and another day trip to York. It was all types of new and we had so much fun. We're excited to share it with you, so please sit back and enjoy part 1 of our UK 2024 travel series. Coincidentally, we were in London during Chinese New Year, so of course, it was only right to check out the street parade.
Everyone are lining up for the parade.
I've got to say, San Francisco definitely puts up a better show. This turnout was a little weak. There were only maybe 10 floats, and the organization of the crowd control needed some work. There were no barriers that separated the crowd from the show, and soon after, so many people ended up literally standing in the middle of the road that the floats couldn't even navigate through traffic. That was a little weird to see. Like, I get you want to be all up close and personal, but like, how are you gonna stand smack dab right in the middle and not give way for the performers to come through? Like, you want to see the show go on, right? So why are you blocking the road then? The fuck? I was surprised to see how lit Chinatown was in London compared to SF. Tommy said it was probably an abnormally large crowd due to Chinese New Year, but I have my doubts. For me, it just seems like this was the place to be, for the young and for the old. Compared to the Chinatown in SF, young people don't necessarily want to hang out there. At least I didn't. It's more like a place where your grandma and her pals go to play mahjong and yamcha on a Saturday morning. You get what I mean? But in London, it's a very different vibe. You have these fancy Indian restaurants and Japanese ramen bars that have lines out the door and down the street. Young 20-something-year-olds with glittery dresses and black-heeled boots hurrying down the streets with their besties to get in line to one of the many neon-lit clubs. The nightlife here is on a whole different level. I noticed many restaurants opened until 3 to 4 a.m. on a weekday, which is crazy because does this city not sleep? The food at these late-night eateries might not be the best, but at least there were options. The Chinese food in London wasn't bad. Some were better than others, but none were horrible.
This is sweet. This has red bean paste, but not much red bean.
I'd give the Chinese food here somewhere between a 7 and an 8 on a rating of 1 to 10.
Like a wonton.
During our time in London, we stayed at Zedwell Piccadilly. As you can probably tell by the name, it's quite literally located in Piccadilly Circus. This was such a convenient location for us since it was 1 minute away from Piccadilly Circus Underground Station, which is their underground train transportation that we used for about 80% of our travel within central London. Or as the Londoners like to call it, the Tube. So it's a very small room. The hotel kind of reminded me of the one Tommy and I stayed in during Kyoto, except this one had even less amenities. A lot of the negative reviews mentioned that it felt similar to a prison cell and that you tend to lose track of time because of the non-existent windows. And I mean, I agree with that point, but I don't know what prison you've all been to because this would be a waste of taxpayers' money if our prison looked as good as this. Don't get me wrong, the room is small and definitely way too cramped for 3 people to be comfortably staying in for long periods of time. This room was not only small, but like way too intimate. We found ourselves in the bit of an awkward situation when it came to using the bathroom. The glass walls don't actually provide a good privacy cover for the people who are changing, and because of the door gaps and proximity, everything, and I mean everything, could be heard. Like, you can't even take a shit comfortably around here. Finding a cheap, comfortable, and convenient hotel is hard in London. Pick 2 of those things, but you'll rarely ever get 3. We went to all the shopping locations, starting off with Covent Garden.
Smells like what?
Lychee. And like something floral.
But then it's still
There's
Christmas.
no mushrooms on the head, on the hat.
Yeah. Socks. Coaster.
Nasi lemak.
Thank you.
The London Transport Museum, there's no entrance fee for the gift shop, but there is one if you wanted to take a tour of the actual museum. I loved the merch here. They had so many accessories, apparels, decor, and furniture. Like, yeah, you heard me right. I said furniture. Upholstered in the same pattern fabric that, certain underground trains used on their seats.
Tiffany said we should bring this couch back.
Yes. Everything.
And haul it back.
Yes, the entire thing. I wonder if it'll fit in our suitcase.
Oh, that should fit.
Yeah, maybe the check-in one.
We can't forget Regent Street. This area has all the luxury brands, including the famous Liberty London. I would compare it to like a Neiman Marcus fitted into a really old style building that dates back to like the 1800s. It's not really worth coming here to check out past the first floor. Just like go in, take a quick picture, and then come back out. Everything inside is super pricey, and kind of like the way that they had it set up felt more like a museum than a department store. But maybe it's just too posh for me to understand.
Imagine you just buy a bunch of these and put in your house. Like, can you look
I
at
was
the
expecting to buy a bunch of toys at Hamley's Toy Store since I went kind of cray-cray the first time I went to Kittyland in Tokyo, but I actually just walked away with a Teletubby blind box, which I have to say, for this particular brand, Pop Mart, don't buy them in London.
40 pounds, damn.
Very British, so
He's like kind of chubs.
it's high class.
Dude,
It's
holy
expensive.
shit, he needs to go on a diet.
Because of the sterling pound to USD like exchange rate, I actually ended up paying $5 more just to buy this when it's actually available in the US for cheaper.
I want this guy. See what I get. Oh shit. Damn it. Damn it. It's the tricycle one, the one we don't want. This guy.
It's the one.
I ended up getting something. I don't even know what this brand is.
Carnaby Street is located right behind Regent Street. If Regent Street is giving like rich lady in a fur coat and designer sunglasses, then Carnaby Street is like the too cool for school, not like other girls, artsy fartsy, got her hair up in two pigtails, wearing mismatched striped knee-high socks kind of energy. You really gotta peep your head into all these alleyways. I found Lazy Oaf here. I was not expecting it. There were also lots of other brands that I wasn't familiar with. So if you're into like local brands when you go vacation, then this is a really good place for that. Oxford Street is even further north. We found ourselves here because of dinner plans and spent some time to check out the stores beforehand. Honestly, the stores aren't really anything special. Lots of the brands that you would find here, you would also find back in the States. The only thing that stands out is Selfridges, which is another luxury department store. So if Liberty is supposed to be Neiman Marcus, then Selfridges would be like a Saks Fifth Avenue. I saw so many people carrying around their yellow shopping bags, which is basically like Selfridges brand color. And it kind of made me want to buy something, like anything, just so I could join their cute little cult. Around the corner on Oxford Street is Mercado Mayfair, a church, but turned into a food court. Super unique concept. One of the things I find the most interesting about the UK is their use of older buildings retrofitted for modern use. Such a great way to incorporate the country's beautiful architecture and historical significance. Price point of the food was around £20 per dish. So we ended up getting a margarita pizza and truffle pasta to share, and both were really good. Quite literally, right next to Mercado Mayfair was Ivy Asia. You can find these chains all around the UK. I even saw them in Dublin. There were 3 branches in central London, but I decided to book the one in Mayfair because I was most curious about the ambience and the decor here. And from the pictures that I could see online, it looked super fancy, it looked interesting.
Look at this bathroom. Oh my god.
Pink toilet.
Bruh.
And so it was my mom's 70th birthday. Yes, I know, the big 7-0. So I wanted to bring her somewhere just a little bit fancy, a little bit extravagant, and a whole lot of extras. And that's exactly how Ivy Asia feels like. It feels a bit more like an overstimulated lounge than a proper restaurant, but that doesn't take away from the fact that the food was actually really good. We got a few things to share, but the most memorable was the duck fried rice. The cocktail my mom got was really good. It tasted kind of like a peachy pina colada. The one I got, on the other hand, was really cool to look at, but was like sickeningly sweet to drink. And I think the reason for that was because the drink was actually already sweet, but because of the cotton candy that melted in there, it ended up getting even sweeter. So it was an overkill, and I basically didn't finish it.
Right? You walked in, you'd be like, what the heck?
You be careful with that.
If you want to watch the horse guard parade, you have to get there early. We did not, so we ended up climbing up on some walls and got the next best spot. You couldn't see much of anything past the gate, so if that's your intention, you'll want to get here as early as possible and stake out at the steps in front of the palace, not on the side of it. And because of the time of our visit, the Buckingham Palace is actually closed for regular visits. So keep that in mind if that's actually part of your must-see. Walking towards Westminster Bridge. Is that how you pronounce it?
What's going on?
Okay. It was a good sunny day today, so it was a refreshing way to enjoy the London sights on the Thames River. I hope I said that right. Tickets weren't cheap, around £25 for one-way trip in central London, but it's definitely an efficient way to comfortably see all of the main landmarks. When in London, there is one thing you absolutely must do, and that is high tea. This is Fortnum and Mason. The price was £85 per person. Yes, that's not cheap, but bougie things rarely are. If I could say one thing to convince you that it was actually worth it, though, is that it's an all-you-can-eat and drink. Everything on the platter and in the teapot could be refilled. Not only can you ask for more tea, you could ask for more any types of tea. Me being a really big tea drinker, I thought this was a really good deal. All the pastries and sweets were pretty good. I really enjoyed the scones with jam and clotted cream, which became my favorite thing, by the way.
Cheesecake, yogurt and blackberry mousse and rose eclair, fruits and plain scones. This one dips, cream, strawberry preserved lemon cream, and sandwiches, cornice and chicken, ham and mustard, trout, chicken mayo and cucumber. For this
One thing I regret was delaying when I bought the tickets for Harry Potter Studios tour. The earlier times were sold out when I went to buy them one full month prior to actually landing in London. So I was only able to get the 6 p.m. tickets. We went right after Fortnum and Mason, but because we had to take their designated bus to the studio from the train station, and the line to get onto the bus was super long, we didn't make it to our 6 p.m. tour and ended up getting into the studio at 6:30 p.m., which was actually the last tour group of the night. Let me tell you, if you're planning on doing the Harry Potter studio tour, which I highly recommend for all HP fans, and even those that might have just seen the movies casually and aren't really like super committed to the franchise, you'll want to give yourself at least 5 hours. The studio closes at 10 p.m. But there's the issue with the last bus leaving back for the station. The location doesn't have any other means of transportation, so unless you drove there or took some other like rideshare service, you'll want to make sure you catch this bus. Because of all this, we really only got 3-ish hours. This was not enough time. I wish you guys could see it in person. It's like massive. this entire train. It literally looks like a train station in here. Hey, the food is here. We're at the food court, which is like kind of like the halfway point. And so it's like there's just so much to see and take in on this tour. The first half of the tour is more interactive, but the latter half includes a lot of behind the scenes information and picture opportunities you'll definitely want to take time to peruse. In order to make the Wizarding World come to life on screen, there were lots of mechanics, costume and makeup, and scale model designs involved. All these were displayed on this tour, alongside the how it came to be. If you're interested in the intricacies of like this fantasy film set, you would have so much fun here. I would suggest minimum of 3 hours for the tour, 1 hour for rest and food, which is the midway point of the tour, and 1 hour for the gift shop. What the fuck is that?
Oh shit. Very grand.
Impressive.
It's very grand.
I feel like I'm actually
At a bank.
the bank. The Gringotts Bank.
Wow. Impressive. Yeah.
So really, you will not want to book later than 4 p.m. if you want to make it to the last bus, but also have enough time to see everything that they have to offer on this tour. And with that, we have come to the end of the video. Thanks for joining in on the first part of our UK series. Next up, we'll be visiting Bath, York, and also Mercedes-Benz World. Yes, we are bringing our car hobby to England. Stay tuned for more Speckic Adventure. Bye!
So all you need to do is hold your hands up like this and then say up. There you go, 10 points to Slytherin.